It's a time! China time with a package from China. Let's go! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in this video we are going to take a close look at the X Game Pro 801, and they told me this is the latest or newer edition. Yeah, a very long time ago I did a review about this product, but this told me there is a new edition and this thing needs to be better than the previous one. But the X series is more like the Xbox One weird lookalike empty shell devices. Yeah, and the reason why it's more plastic than we're going to get actually like something of a PCB in the inside. They call it the X Pro 800 in one. And in the beginning of this year I reviewed the normal X Game version. That was a white casing edition, but this one comes in a color black. It has Ultra HD 4K HDMI. Yeah, right. I think they mean like they maybe have a 4K television. It can be played on a 4K television, but actually 4K output? Nope. When you take a close look at the side of the box, there we're going to get the information that makes sense. Linux 3.0 OS, then we're going to get support for 4K HDMI, but the support, basically the signal output, is 720p, 60Hz, game speed, FPS 101 output, perfect and fluent. Oh, that we're going to check that out. And yeah, nevertheless, it got the support of all kinds of systems, but let's do a quick unboxing. Oh boy, with these systems from AliExpress, it's always the question, what are we going to get? First of all, how do I open this thing up? Oh, here it is. I had it in a different position, not the correct position. Alright, so I'm curious if this thing is better than the previous model, or are they still like selling the same crap? Or okay, this thing weighs almost nothing. In the inside we're going to get HDMI, we're going to get the two bulky, beefy PlayStation knockoff controllers with the wire, not even wireless. Then we're going to get the sheet of toilet paper, quick reference. That makes no sense. An AV out. We're going to get the USB to barrel jack connection, and then we're going to get our very horrible cheap 5V power supply that I'm not going to use. Alright, so let's take a close look at the controller. So when it comes to the controllers, it's always like a mixed bag. It's like a gamble, you know, like sometimes it's very good, sometimes it's okay, but sometimes they're like freaking cheap. So the first thing that we need to do is smell test, of course. Oh, these things smell really chemical. They're kind of bulky. And look at this D-pad. It's freaking awful. Oh man, they're like the cheap versions. Oh, this is really bad. Like, this is not even rubber. Like, oh, it is rubber. Wait, it's sticky. Ugh. Oh, the AB. Oh man, these AB are super sturdy. Like, really horrible buttons. The shoulder buttons are freaking awful. Comes with a very long cable. I must hand them that. But let's take a close look at the system itself. Alright, so the system itself, this is what we're going to get, the X Game Pro, and there's by the way nothing beneath there, like there is no fan whatsoever. So at the back we're going to get the input for the TF card, the HDMI out, I'm almost saying TF but it's an SD card. We're going to get the output for the analog that we're not going to use, and then we're going to get ourselves the input for the power supply, because I don't know how it's with you, but I'm buying the stuff like I just want to have HDMI. Then we're going to on and off over here, then we're going to get two USB. I think it's 1.1 or something like that, or 2.0 at the front. So that's it. Like, it looks like an Xbox, but it isn't, and it doesn't play Xbox games at all. But let's plug in the controller. Let's hook this thing up, because I'm curious, what did they change out, or didn't they change anything at all? Because that is the most confusing part with these AliExpress products. So plugging in this game system is easy peasy. Two cables, and when you're booting it up, it will take a couple of seconds to boot up, but that's it. And the menu itself looks kind of boring, if you ask me. Alright, so let's take a close look at the menu itself. The menu is nothing much really changed over here. What we're going to get is Arcade, NES, the Game Boys, then we're going to get Mega Drive and the Master System, Super NES. We're going to get a Game Gear, the PlayStation 1, and here we're going to get the SD function. When you click on this, you're going to get into the SD card that you can put in the back of the system and add your files and your folders over there. Of course, when you're pressing the select, we're going to get only this freaking language. Like, there was nothing you can change out actually. Like, kind of weird if you ask me. Another option we're having is when you're pressing select and start, the only option we're going to get here is having a quick load and quick save. That's it. No aspect ratio can be changed. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to try out is 8-bit. I'm curious if they messed that up. So far I can see it seems to be working fine. It plays quite weird because we're having the weird knockoff PlayStation controllers. And basically what they did, like A and B are completely messed up. And the other thing is that they're having like turbo buttons. Shoulder button doesn't do anything. Okay, next up, game wheel font is still messed up. When you're hearing this weird sound in the background, that is not like it should be. That noise, like, that is not normal. Oh man, it looks really hideous, completely stretched out. And there is a big sound delay. So they didn't change anything when it comes to the GBA emulation part. Alright, so next up. Super Famicom. Let's see if they messed it up. Man, that sounds really weird in the intro. The soundtracks are sounding weird, and you can just hear there's something off with the sound effects of the character. Okay, this is quite interesting. So I can still remember with the first edition that I ever reviewed a couple of years ago, Mega Drive was completely messed up, like it didn't work at all. So it seems to me like there is an improvement when it comes to Mega Drive. Especially with this game. Let's see, no, there's no audio delay. So I'm quite surprised to see that they actually like fixed something. Because that was the main reason I just wanted to revisit this. Oh man, that looked completely messed up. So this is also the part of the game I wanted to play, just to see how that looks. So did it fix everything? Nope, not at all, but it's better. Another thing I'm noticing, like they're using the filter over it, because when Pandora's Box you have this like this smooth filter stuff, they are doing that too with this system. Ow. Oh crap, I'm searching my buttons here. Yeah, the D-pad is quite awful. There is nothing I can do with when it comes to the move. Even the analog stick has gives me some troubles. When it comes to the quality of the emulation, it's not super bad. Okay, so let's try to play some Beefcake and Dinos on this freaking controller. But what I'm noticing, like the soundtrack, everything seems to be like working as it normally is. So I'm quite surprised, to be honest. Okay, so the problem with the first model was that we had issues with the PlayStation 1 part. The games couldn't be booted up, and somehow they freaking managed to fix that with the later editions. And I must say that the overall performance when it comes to the PlayStation 1 part on this game is not bad at all. I'm not a big fan of the stretch part, but here you can see with this game that the emulation is not bad at all. But sadly there is an input lag with audio. So normally if you can go into the settings, there is some possibility that you're going to fix it. But the problem is it's a lock system, so you cannot change anything whatsoever. And that is what I think is a little bit of a bummer with these devices in general. There is nothing like you can do with it. It's plug and play. If it doesn't work, yeah, you need to deal with it. But you can already see, like with the FPS itself, it's quite good. But that freaking annoying audio lag. Let's see if we can do a move again with the freaking D-pad. Ah, I can. Alright, so let's plug this bad boy from the television and let's rip it apart. Alright, so what I'm really curious about with this device is that when you're looking at the emulation was pretty damn awful when it comes to the first model, but it seems to be they fixed a lot of things. So that makes the question, what did they do in the inside? And that's what we're going to find out. Oh man, I'm going to cut the video here because I am having some troubles getting these rubbery feet off. Yay! I don't know if there is a screw underneath here. I think not. But that we'll find out later on. Let's see if this is right screwdriver. Nope. And let's get myself the bigger one. Okay, all the 4 parkers have been removed. The only thing that we need to do is getting this rubber out. Yep, we don't need to push it in with it, we need to get it out. Oh man. Alright, so that is screw number 1. But you know the seal that we had before? Yep, there is another rubbery thing inside. So we need to like get it out, then we can remove the final 2 screws. Oh. Alright, so let's remove the bottom plate. Okay, let's remove this cable so we can remove this piece of plastic. And oh yeah, so this is basically what we're going to get in the inside, you know. If you didn't see the previous video where they did a tear down, like this is crazy. But let's take a close look at the main board itself. So here we're going to get ourselves the main board, but the thing is like, I wouldn't say I cannot really recall they changed out the layout itself. Here we're going to get the ATM 7013 chip itself. This is more like the main processor. Then we're going to get something quite interesting, and that is here that we can see like this thing called the ATM 7013. But what is interesting, this is the version 2.2. So yeah, they did some revision on this main board, and that is also explaining why the Mega Drive version actually runs better now. The PCB, on the other hand, is still from 2017, so this is like some old school stuff they are still reusing. This for the output for the old school signal, the composite, and the input for the power supply. At the front, we're going to get this tiny PCB in combination that connects the cable to the main board, and of course the micro switch for turning it on and off. Alright, so what we're going to get over here on the other shelf, well, very simple. We're going to get the PCB with the USB port. Nothing has been changed over here. It's the same story like with this PCB. It's a pretty damn old one. Yeah, that's it. Like in this case would be cool, like to have like a project, maybe slap a PC in it or something like that. Because there is basically like a ventilation hole and you can do some really cool things with it. But yeah, when it comes to emulation and internal parts, this is what we're going to get. Alright guys, so this is what we're going to get with the X-Game 801 or the fake Xbox One X clone. Nevertheless, like this device is a quite interesting one, and the reason why is very simple. But I must say that they didn't really lie to us today, because they did improve a lot of things. But don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. It is far from perfect. But when you're looking at the PlayStation 1 part, I was quite surprised that I actually can add some games. But also what I found quite interesting, that the emulation was quite good, but I noticed some emulation errors like the audio lag, and we couldn't change anything about it. In my opinion, it's a little bit of a bummer that this thing doesn't have like perfect emulation of every single platform, and this thing still comes with a lot of problems. But in general, the X-Game Pro 801, I must say that I'm still disappointed with all the flaws this thing has. To begin with, yeah, it's great that they fixed the PlayStation adding game issue and the Mega Drive runs way better now, but still not perfect. It still has a lot of emulation problems. Yeah, let me know what you think of this. I want to thank you for watching. Consider subscribing, hit that little bell, becoming a Wicked family, and I will see you in the next video.